this music and song of Soviet people turned the tide in the war. 나가자 나의 저구가 정의의 싸움에 휘둘러 강도 배두를 부시는 싸움이다. 분노야 불타올라라 심장아 뛰어라 그렇다 인민의 싸움 정의의 싸움이다. Thank you.
Thank you very much, you see, Comrade Apalbra, to give me the first opportunity to deliver the speech. As he mentioned, when I entered this room, I was surprised to see that there are quite great audience, and we said that the hall is too small to, host so many audiences to honor the October Revolution, even at the center of the world imperialism, at this London. And it's quite a long time, when the great communist Comrade Lenin led October Revolution into victory, and I'm quite sure that none of us, in our life witnessed the October Revolution. So what I want to quote is that I want to quote some part of the reminiscence, the memory of our President Kim Il-sung, how he valued the October Revolution, how the October Revolution influenced in the development in his ideology when he was a young, the youth. As you know, nobody, was born communists. We are just, born as a free human being, and from some instance or books or, that influenced, us and also the other people to be a communist. And I'll just quote how October Revolution, influenced the Comrade Kim Il-sung. In his memory, he wrote, "In Fusong, I read the biography of Lenin, the fundamentals of socialism, and a few other books. But in Houdain, I read more books. Previously, I had confined myself to grasping the content of the books I read. But after going to Hwasong-Usuk School, I came to consider the principles of revolution contained in the classics in the connection with the situation in Korea. I wanted to know many things related to the Korean Revolution. How to overthrow Japanese imperialism and win back the country. Who is the enemy? And who an ally in the struggle for national liberation? What course to take to build socialism and communism after winning national independence? I wish to find answers to all these questions. When I picked up a book to get an answer to these questions, I delved into it at length until I found an appropriate passage. In particular, I read the passage dealing with the question of colonies 20 times. So when friends came to see me, I had many topics to discuss. We talked a great deal about the new trends of thought and about Soviet Union. When the students listened to these stories, they pictured a new world free from exploitation and oppression, and were reluctant to leave. When they were more interested in these stories than in the argument about restoration of the Lee dynasty, capitalism, or national reform. The students who were passing their time frivolously gradually began to aspire after something new. But at school, they could not speak freely about Lenin or about October Revolution. The school authorities prohibited such talk. The expectations I entered of Hwasong Uisuk School gradually began to crumble. So that is the story how President Comrade Kim Il-sung came to read and face, you see, the books of Lenin and about October liberation. And at his later stage, he wrote, when the October Socialist Revolution triumphed in Russia, the ideal of socialism became reality. The communists of all the countries were faced with the noble task of both preserving the gains of revolution and following up its success on a world scale. In response to the requirements of the time, Lenin established the Third Communist International in 1919. Its historic mission was to organize the struggle of working class and the oppressed nations of the whole world to free themselves from imperialist oppression and the chain of capital, and to develop its struggle on an international scale. This was a militant mission that differed from those of its predecessors, the First and the Second Internationals, and fitted with the requirements of new times. One of the major tasks of Comintern at meantime was to safeguard and defend the Soviet Union. The defense of the positions of victorious socialism was inseparable from the expansion of socialist cause. Without defending them, it was impossible to spread and further develop the success of October Revolution on a global scale. It was quite natural that the defense of the Soviet Union became an international slogan for all communists, and that the implementation of this slogan became the major content of the international communist movement. That is what Kim Il-sung wrote about experience in late of 1920s and the beginning of 1930s. And today I have brought the newspapers, you see, of my country, and also these magazines over there. I want to, you see, the comrades and friends here to pick up one of the newspapers and magazines, and you see, when you're at home, read it. What I want to say that socialism is not something in the air. Socialism is reality. If you read our papers and the magazines and the photos, you can see how socialism is carried on and put into practice in some part of the world. And a few days ago, my party and country have celebrated the 70th anniversary of the founding of Workers' Party of Korea, and your newspaper carried a long story to honor this 70th anniversary of the birthday of our party, and Comrade Keith Bennett was in Pyongyang to witness all those successes of our Korean Revolution. And when I all of a sudden see the film about Stalin, and especially the speeches he made at the ceremony of October Revolution, it almost all of came to my mind that when we were young in Korea, when we celebrate October Revolution, we always sang one song. I know, comrades, you know that one, but I want to finish my speech by singing that song. I can't sing that song in Korean, but I think if any of you can sing that song in English, please join me. That song was sang by all the Soviet people and the army when they started the offensive against Nazis Hitler army. Is that microphone?
It works from
okay.
it's working.
Yes. If anybody knows this song, join us, because this song is very popular in Korea and China and worldwide, because that song, not only the ideology and the army of red, army, but this music and song of Soviet people turned the tide in the war. 나가자 나의 저구가
정의의 싸움에 휘둘러 강도 배두를 부시는 싸움이다. 분노야 불타올라라 심장아 뛰어라. 그렇다 인민의 싸움 정의의 싸움이다. Thank you.
Well, every day you live, you discover something new. Did you know Comrade Thay was such a great revolutionary singer? It's really good. It's the first time we've heard something like that from a diplomatic representative. It's really, really good. And we thank you for this act of comradely kindness. Thank you so much.